Well, hi folks. Thanks for dropping by. A couple of weeks ago, I made a video of an important little bit of kit that every household should have one, and I wasn't happy with the video, so I scrubbed it. But I want to talk about it again because if I can find this little game, um, it is very important to me that to get this over to you. How important is that? Having a little device in your house that could save lives is, well, it's up there with the first aid box, isn't it? Anybody can use this, and you don't have to have a science degree to figure it out. But going to give you a scenario, really. Imagine, your child comes in choking maybe, or having an asthma attack or whatever. It doesn't have to be a child, it can be an adult. Okay, age is irrelevant. The fact is you have an emergency situation in your house and you have an ill one on the floor, they've gone unconscious, they've all sorts of reasons why people won't stop breathing. They're either having a heart attack, someone's got stuck in their throat, they're having respiratory, they're having an asthma attack, whatever. But all you know is that they're looking blue. And you're panicking and trying to get someone to phone the ambulance if you've got somebody to help there. You really do need to find out what's going on. Are they getting their breath? Is the breath they're getting sufficient to supply, the demand in the body? Now, you may not be a first aider. You may just be a mum or a dad or a babysitter who's suddenly met with a position of having a blue patient amongst you now, because that person becomes a patient rather than a child you're babysitting for, or an old person you're caring for, or your brother, your sister, God knows. What are you going to do? Do you know CPR? They're not, you have to figure out whether there's a pulse and whether they're getting breathing. They're breathing. Now, if they're on the floor and they're going blue and their lips are going blue and they're almost going into unconsciousness, you know pretty well they're not breathing. And you're on the phone and it's absolute mad panic, isn't it? And you get through to the 999 services and fire, police or ambulance. What do you want? Ambulance please, and what's going on? And they want you to express what's going on. Is the patient breathing? Have they got a pulse? And you ask these basic questions. Hurry up and get the ambulance in. Never mind asking questions. We need to know what we're going to be expecting to see. Have they got a clear airway? Have they got anything stuck in their mouth? And please, well, you have to start. If there's no pulse, how do you know? Because you're not trained often, and there's a big panic going on. Well, there's a little device that's going to help you, and I've said it before, if you've missed it, I'm sad, but this is going to renew my faith in humanity if I can get this across to you now. Every household should know what to do in the case if you've got children or you're looking after an elderly person in your home, or each other. You should all know basic CPR in your house. You have no right being a parent, really, unless you really do understand that the child, or caring for the elderly, or caring for your other siblings or your husband or wife, it's your duty really to be in a position where you can give essential first aid. Because what are you going to do? You so please get here quick, please, I can't do anything, I'm useless at this sort of stuff. It's not going to help, is it? The person lying on the floor, they could have swallowed their dentures, they could have got food stuck in their throat. But the one thing is, the ambulance service need to know what you're dealing with. Is the patient breathing? Because they become a patient the moment you phone 999. Have they got a pulse? Well, you can check the pulse here, can't you? Feel it in your fingers. Can't feel anything, and there's a big panic going on. Oh, please hurry, send the ambulance. But we need to, the ambulance is on its way. You've already given your postcode and your number and the situation. They're on the way, so stop fretting. But it's more important now, you're in a position to, it might be 15 miles away, the ambulance, and you're having to you do the first aid. Well, there's one device that's going to help you a load, because the first thing is, pulse. Have they got an airway, ABC, airway, breathing, circulation, ABC. Have they got anything in their mouth, like dentures stuck in the back of the throat or food stuck in their throats? That means, is the airway blocked or is it clear? Well, you can listen, you can check what's in their mouth, and anything in there, scoop it out, or go round the back of them and squeeze them around the tummy quickly, make sure their head's up, and you squeeze them, a bit of a shock, and anything stuck in their throat should pop out. So you should learn these things as a parent. It's your responsibility. And or you're babysitting. If you're a babysitter, you've really got to know CPR to look after the children if they are in your care, or elderly people. So, there's no excuse for ignorance. If you're taking on the role of caring for people, make sure you know the basics of life support. But what if you don't? What if, though, when the paramedic, the people on the end of the phone, when you're phoning them in an emergency, they say to you, is the patient breathing? I don't know. Have they got a pulse? I don't know. Well, you're not being very helpful, are you? Because you should have made this assessment before you phoned up. And first of all, you don't spend time on the telephone, unless somebody's like in a state, at least they're safe while you're making the phone call. You have to give first aid. That's why it's called first aid. Okay. But there is one device that's going to help you, and it might take the sting off the edge of the stress. And it is this little job. And every household should have one. It's like a peg. Okay, you put it on your finger like that, all right? Can you see that? This is called, believe it or not, a pulse oximeter. It reads the amount of oxygen as a percentage going around the body at the time you put it on the finger. It can be the finger or the thumb, preferably a finger. Okay, so it's got an up and a down side to it. The screen goes up the same side as the fingernail, and it clamps on like a peg. And you simply turn it on with the little button underneath, and I'm going to do it now. Okay, and you can see it's burst into life with numbers and flashes. The top figure will be the saturation of oxygen in my blood, and it's a percentage figure, and it's currently 96-97% oxygen in my blood. That's really good. That's how you walk around generally. If I had to take deep breaths a lot, 10 after one each other, it'll go up to nearly 99-100% saturation. That's the amount of oxygen floating around in my body right now. And underneath it's the number of pulses, 57 for me, okay, that are going every minute in at 57 beats a minute. And that's it. I'm not having a heart attack, and I've got good oxygen saturation at 97. Those two figures, you haven't had to do anything for them apart from turn this little button on and stick it on the end of their finger. Now, paramedics will say, if you say to them, I've got an oximeter, I put it on their finger, and they'll say, what are the readings on the oximeter, pulse oximeter? And you say, let's say you're saying 98 and 60. Well, that's okay. That means that they've got good oxygen saturations. They haven't got stuck in their throat. They're obviously breathing. They might be unconscious, but that's another matter. But what's their pulse doing? Oh, it's it's very, very slow. You could say it's very slow. You could say, if it's saying so very slow, it'll say that. But it'll tell you underneath. And you quote these two numbers. They will be on the phone then very quickly to the paramedics that are on your way to your house, because they will be forearmed as forewarned, or forewarned as forearmed, sorry. Been a long day. But if a child is having an asthma attack, that's the big worry for a lot of parents, because are they getting enough air? You're getting all the the sprays out and everything, the vasodilators for the bronchodilators for the breath, and they get their inhalers out and it's still not working. The kid's got blue lips, or oh God, what do? I need an ambulance because they've got blue lips, have gone unconscious and they're having a fit maybe, and stick a pulse oximeter on out the drawer, first aid drawer, yes, turn it on again. And if Betty or your daughter, son Jimmy is on the floor with blue lips, this little job here is going to tell you what to say to the ambulance man when you phone up. My kid's having an asthma attack, his pulse oximeter, his heart rate is, let's say, 110, 115, but his oxygen saturation, the number at the bottom, oh my God, it's going down to 30%. Well, yeah, he's obviously starving of oxygen. What you have to do is give him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. Make sure his airway's clear and assist his breathing. Give him deep breaths. So there's all sorts of things that this benefits. And you can turn the sound on, the beep, beep, beep of the pulse. Now, so what's his pulse rate? Oh, it's not 99 is his saturation, his pulse rate. 59 now. Yeah, well, that's okay. At least we know he's getting oxygen to his brain and he's got a good circulation. He's got a good pulse. Okay, so he's breathing. He's got enough oxygen. He's not going to be brain damaged by the time the ambulance gets there. Now, I've rattled on giving you a few scenarios here. Okay, about this wonderful little device. And you don't have to learn how to use it. You just have to know, click it on a finger. Okay, wait, turn it on, and then tell the paramedics on their way, or the ambulance staff when you phone an ambulance, what those two figures are. Say the top one is a percentage and the bottom one is a number. Top one's 98%, and that's my saturation because I'm pretty healthy, and the pulse is 57, so I'm alive and kicking. But if I was having a heart attack or a bronchial, something stuck in my throat, my lips would be going blue. There are other indicators. Okay, but that figure at the bottom wouldn't be, it wouldn't be very high. It'd look, I get blue lips and, oh my God, the saturation's really low. It's 80, and well, that's why, because the blood oxygen saturation has to be above at least 80. God. You are turning blue at 80, 70 and 60, but then your pulse will be going like crazy anyway to compensate. But these two figures, you phone the ambulance and say, I've got a pulse oximeter on the finger of the patient, and he's got a pulse of such and such, and his blood saturation, because it is at the top. Yeah, you know it. And that's 99% in this case. There's only two figures to quote to the paramedics when you phone them up for an ambulance. Okay. But I'm rattled on long enough about this. But I don't understand why every household doesn't have one, because if you're in a car crash, heaven forbid, and you run to a car wreck and you get the person out and they're unconscious, you stick this on their finger, stick it in your car, carry it around in your first aid box, pop it on. Battery operated. Do you know how much these are? They're now less than £10 on Amazon. And this is going to save your life possibly, or your child's life, or your life. If you're having a big asthma attack, clip this on your finger, phone the ambulance and tell them what your figures are on this when you turn it on. That's all it takes. One little button there. See, if I turn it off, it'll go off. There we are, it's gone back to blank. Okay, it's gone off. If I turn it on, this is how hard it is to use. Turn it on, stick your finger in the hole, like that, and wait. It'll give you 10 seconds, 15 seconds before the little picture starts to form. You can see this now, can't you? Yep, it'll start to read. There we are. And it's given me 95 and 55. 95 is my oxygen saturation, and underneath is my pulse rate. If I breathe deeper and deeper and deeper, it'll go to 94, 95, 96, 90. Go. You'll never get to 100% oxygen, folks. You'll get to 99 if you're pretty fit. Okay. But that can go on a casualty's finger as well, somebody who you suspect is having a heart attack. Yeah, because if there's no pulse, you get compressing the chest, because you can see there's no pulse happening on a cardiac arrest because there's a pulse bar. It goes beep, beep, beep up in here. But check this out for yourself. Pulse Oximeter, okay, little clip, £10, the best money you've ever spent for your first aid kit to carry around either in your house or in your car or around your neck if you're an asthmatic. And you can check the efficacy of your spray, you know, your inhaler. Oh, I'm getting short of breath. I'll just check my oxygen saturation in my blood. Oh, it's still pretty okay. It's, you know, it's 95, 96. That's okay. I don't need my inhaler. It's just a panic attack. I don't need a spray. You see, the information this gives you. 20 years ago when I was involved in anaesthesia, 30 years now actually, the big versions of this, because I've gone portable now, the big versions of this were in the early days thousands of pounds. And technology has moved on because they give you two figures now, not just the one. Okay, it used to be a flash, flash, flash every time the heart beat. You know, wonderful on the anaesthetic machine, you could watch it flashing while you're reading the Daily Telegraph, flashing over here. But this in your glove compartment in your car or in your house, if you've got somebody who's potentially going to have a heart attack in your house, or an elderly relative or a child, this needs to be in your first aid box. And all you need to do to learn to use it is stick it in your finger, stick it on, press that little button there, dink, and it springs to life, and you can check, have they got enough oxygen, and is their heart beating? That's all you want to know when you're phoning for an ambulance. That's all they want to know. And is there any bleeding? Well, that's going to be quite obvious to you, and I'm sure you can put your hand on it and apply pressure if there is. Okay, but this £10, come on, you wouldn't get a round of drinks for a tenner, would you? And now you've got technology that's going to save you an awful lot of time and heartache, okay, and allow you to give up-to-date, second-to-second information to the paramedics when they come round, because they'll get the information from the operator that you phone. Okay, if you tell them that the ambulance is on its way, well, tell the ambulance crew that this is the information. Can you convey that information to them, please? Yes, they are breathing, otherwise, you know, my oximeter reading, if you say this, says this. So I've laboured the point now. So good luck on this, but £10, you can learn all about pulse oximeters in other videos on YouTube. I'm sure people will be waxing lyrical about them. But I can tell you now, what they would pay me 30 years ago for this. Oh God, I could have been very rich by now. But £10 for that, and the batteries last ages, and it fully conforms to all the special, you know, CE marks and all that. This isn't some cheap, crappy import. But they are well respected and well known. It's a peg that lights up when you turn it on. All the paramedics want is those two numbers, okay? Take care, and that's that for now. And just got to go and record another political video now, hopefully, with a bit of luck. Got some battery left. Thanks for watching.